views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB-TV.
No, it's fine. Welcome to SinCityBounty. We were supposed to have a guest today. You see the extra empty chair?
We have a
So
guest
we have
ghost.
Ghost guest. Ghost guest today?
We got ghosted by our guested.
Yeah, we did.
Ghost.
This is one of the reasons why I don't advertise they're coming, although we should, because people would have tuned in for it, I think.
People tune in for this just for us. Fuck them.
I
mean, I like. Listen, we were supposed to have Thor on because there was that big BBW porn award that just happened, and he won something.
He won for male performer.
Yeah,
Best
male performer of the year. He beat out. A couple of other guys.
He beat out Christian XXX. He beat out Shane Diesel. He beat out some of the biggest.
Yeah.
In the,
Which that's the power of the redhead, I guess. The ginger.
Hey, for show 420, we were talking about it. If you guys are watching the fancy video of this over on YouTube,
Hi, YouTube.
you miss the fabulous pre-show and post-show ramblings of all of us here in the studio. But we were talking about our 420 show that's coming up and maybe having some edibles. Are we going to have guests? If we do it here in the studio, we can have guests.
Yeah, we can have guests.
And they could
So-
be high.
Steph Hoops LV is getting married in June.
Yes.
And I'm going to her wedding, and she just hooked me up with a lady who makes edibles and can make sugar-free, like savory edibles and sugar-free pudding edibles. And so I am down with this, like seriously.
don't they sell sugar-free in the dispensaries?
Not all of them. The one dispensary that I go to, the only sugar-free thing they have is like these dark chocolate chips that look delicious. But the thing is me and dark chocolate is I would eat them all, and then I would have one of those like super powerful like freak out things probably, because I'd eat it all. But you know, if I got a tiny little pudding cup and they're like, you can eat 3, I would have 3, and that'd be cool. And I'd eat those, and then I'd be high.
The last time I had an edible, Sweet Cheeks actually gave it to me. Sweet Cheeks from one of our former hosts. And so she gave me part of a cookie. We were out at a club.
I was there
She
that night. I
gave
had
me-
part of cookie too.
She gave me part of a cookie, and a while went by and nothing happened. I was perfectly fine. And she's like, here, eat the other half. And it all hit at once. And I don't know if you remember any of this, but I remember sitting by the front door near Juanita, and we'll talk about her as well. But near Juanita, and it all kicked in, and all I did was sit there and drool. I was just, my eyes like were basically shut. Drool was just, I could feel it dripping down my body. Everybody's
That's
coming up, they're
sexy.
like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm perfectly fine. You know, as the drool's pooled, like dripping off of my chin. And then afterward, it must have been New Year's because there was food, and I'm really weird about eating food in public places. As you know, from your cum chips at the Red Rooster,
I ate the fuck
I
out of them
won't
chips too.
I won't touch shit that other people, like random strangers, have their hands in. Like when we would go to the Rooster and they have snacks out, Sierra would be like, get me a plate. And she'd be there, and I'm like, some dude just jerked off and then dug his hand in the chips, and you're now eating his cum chips.
Look, I probably swam in his cum in the pool, so what
You
else?
did. That's a whole nother story when you swim in that jizz pool. But I remember
It just makes you know
afterward-
what? If you don't die from eating cum chips, it just makes you stronger for the next time you eat some other chips that are covered in something that you don't want them covered in.
It
What does
does.
not kill you
Makes you
That's
stronger.
true. That's true. So I mean, some
I'm now
people shove
inoculated
super-
against at least
Yeah.
one version of the herpesific gonorrhoeads.
So at this point, I should be like Batman or some shit. So anyway, I remember going over to the buffet, and like there was hardly anything left, and I'm like, I'll eat all of it. And you know, the next day I was so grossed out at the thought that not only did I eat from that buffet, but I ate from that buffet like hours after people actually ate at it. So I got whatever was sitting there. and probably,
I'd been picked over.
yeah, have been picked over, put back. I have no idea. But I just remember spending most of that time sitting there drooling. Like I couldn't move. I just couldn't function.
I have found that there are two kinds of stoned people. There are the ones that sit in a corner and drool,
Right.
or veg completely out and do nothing but eat. And then there's the kinds that's productive.
Yeah.
The ones that do every
sister.
motherfucking thing.
Yeah.
I
If
had
you're lucky enough to date one, that's awesome. You keep him in weed.
Yeah, I had one. I dated one that when he got high, he would build shit. And I'm not talking like rickety ass shit. Like, he had this insane entertainment center that he had built himself over a series of like 3 weekends where he was high as fuck. And it was made out of like cherry wood, and it had all this like intricate working in it, the way the pieces were fit together. I was like, are you a carpenter by trade? He goes, nah, I do this when I get high. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, he would, you know what? I'm going to build a house. I'd be like, go for it. Like, dude, rock on.
I had you guys have been there. I had a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house. It was pretty decent size. And years ago, I used to pay my sister to clean for me. And she would come and she'd be like, I got to go outside for a few minutes. And she would go outside, she would smoke, and she would come in and she would like power through. I'm like, how are you already done in the bathrooms? And she's like, I just am. And that's what she would do. She would get high and then just be so effective that she would just get shit done.
Those
I
are the
am not-
coolest stoners ever.
I am not effective.
Nope.
I am not. I can barely get the munchies I'm putting into my face in my mouth. The last time I got super high was with this bitch on a New Year's Eve. And I ended up spending most of the night eating meat off the charcuterie board. Eating meat dipped in spicy brown mustard, and it was the best I'd ever had.
Best cotto salami ever.
Yeah.
It was probably wheat thins and you had no idea.
I think they were there too.
Like you were just chunking on some wheat thins.
No,
and
I
you're
ditched
like,
the
this
wheat
is
thins.
delicious.
I ditched the wheat thins and the
fancy
Triscuits because they were
cheese
too hard
thing.
to chew while I just wanted meat.
I don't know. Didn't you text us the one time you were high and you like were seeing bubbles or something?
No, I did like some poetry for you guys one time. Like
yeah, that's
some like even flow poetry over text message while I was high as fuck. Yeah, it was good. It was good shit.
That's when you get high and drink a lot of coffee.
No, I wasn't drinking a lot of
Your
coffee.
mind
It
is
was
still
all right.
kind of alert, so you can still do things like
That was
foreign
when
poetry.
I fucked up my back and I needed to get high one night because
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep. I could not sleep, so I smoked a little weed and I relaxed enough to sleep, but I also relaxed enough to roll off some like stupid butterfly poetry or some bullshit like that. I don't remember. I was high.
And I'm more, so my thing is more the drinking. And that's why, you know, you get the whole 3 a.m. like, do you want to see my vagina in the bathroom at the blah, blah, blah.
And it's, yeah.
For those of you,
She also encourages drunk text messaging, by the way. If you're like, I feel like I should drunk text message someone, she'd be like, you should. And then it ruins relationships.
speaking of, our favorite local
Sorry.
famous liquor store has a billboard just outside the building here, just outside of WWDBTV, that says, "I didn't text you, vodka did."
Yes.
That is like my life motto. And also, when
Don't
people
come at me for things Drunk Sue did. Sober Sue was not there. You
Yeah.
need to come at Drunk Sue for that.
that's my whole thing where you're like, and you said this and this and this last night, and you said this and this. I'm like, no. Tequila said that shit. I would never fucking say any of that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
never.
when she's drunk, I'm the PC one, just so you all know.
Right. I'm ridiculous.
She's very
I'm ridiculous.
It's
I
fun,
go
though.
home with strangers. Like, I'm just ridiculous. I create parties.
You
and
invite
leave
weird
the
people to other
parties.
people's house,
I do.
So if you
make out with our Uber drivers.
True. True. I mean, in essence, it saves us from tipping, so it's for all of us.
Luana says, "I want some sugar-free edibles." Okay, if you're like myself and Sierra, and you get the munchies and veg out, totally. Are you that way too?
No, she just
She
drools. In the
drools.
corner.
That's right.
Yeah, just draw.
And you have access to sugar-free edibles. Put them away after you eat a couple.
Yeah. No, I only need as many as it'll take me to get high. I don't want extras.
No.
Because then I'll just keep eating those bitches.
And you know what happens when you eat the sugar-free alcohols that come in
Yeah,
the sugar-free stuff?
I do that regularly just to remind myself why I shouldn't do that.
So be careful.
Free cleansing.
So, yeah.
It's
Jelly
You know what?
Bellies
I
makes-
just turned it into the shit show. God damn it!
And it's always her that does it. So Jelly Bellies makes sugar-free Jelly Bellies, and
You're always
make
the one who's like,
they also make sugar-free gummy bears, and it very clearly says in the back of the package that it is 2 servings, and this package is very small. So I thought, you know what? I've never actually eaten a whole package of these, and I've had a half a pack. Like, I've kept myself to 1 serving and been fine. So I sat down and ate a whole pack of sugar-free gummy bears. It's like 15 gummy bears tops, I'm telling you guys. And I regretted it for 2 days. I shit like a fire hose for 2 days.
We have 2 people who miss Sweet Cheeks. Aww.
I missed her too.
She's still around, right?
I don't know.
And Jasper says, you are better off skinny dipping in a septic tank than getting in the Red Rooster's pool.
Jasper, I would like to remind you that the last time I was at the Red Rooster, I happened to see someone who looked a lot like you there in the pool.
Was he getting a hand job that he wasn't going to thank a some girl
no, that
for?
was a hot tub.
Oh, hot
I
tub.
swear.
Oh, they have a
That
hot
was
tub right
Nancy's
next
hot
to the
tub.
pool.
Yeah. So, you know, don't go throwing stones out your glass house, bitch. Just kidding. I love you, Jasper.
We love you,
So
Jasper.
no, because I make fun of her every time. I'm like, I can't walk in that pool. I will get pregnant by the time I hit the 3rd step in. I can't do it. I can't. And when later when I get asked whose baby it is, I'm like, the Rooster Pool's baby.
I would like to say that I've been in the pool. I think the very first time I went into the pool. The chlorine is so strong in that pool.
Yeah, it's bad.
Nothing is living.
No.
But it doesn't stop the fact that
It
there's
bleaches
a
your pubic
mushroom.
hair.
There's like a mushroom cloud of jizz just floating around there.
Yes.
Like it doesn't stop that.
But they're
But it's
Completely
completely
sterilized.
inert.
Yeah, they've been completely sterilized.
It's sterilized, but it's still random people's jizz. And so
Well, I'm not putting it in my mouth. It's not like I'm going and going, oh.
what if you accidentally get some water, someone splashes you and you got water in
She
your mouth?
eats
and now-
cum chips.
It's true. Why am I even arguing this? You're right. You're right.
Do you know how many random dudes' dicks have been in my mouth?
That's true. I can't. I can't argue that either because I've had a lot of random dicks in my mouth too. I'm pretty sure you have as well.
Yeah, and they're not chlorinated, those dicks.
I'd like you to chlorinate your dick before I randomly stick
You
it in
can
my
carry
mouth.
around a spray bottle.
You could. Just be like,
Can you? Is there like
it could be a
is
turn
there
on for some
dick
guys.
spray?
Is there dick spray? Of course there's dick spray. It's called, was that Tufactin Tenactin?
No!
Jock itch spray.
Isn't that for your feet?
Well, they make one for your, they make a jock itch spray too.
That's for jock itch. We don't need it for jock itch.
Well, then you know you won't get thrush.
oh Jesus Christ. So the pool.
It's just Lysol, right? No, because then you got to put your mouth on it
Yeah,
later.
do you want to
so
taste Lysol? No.
maybe we could talk
Like,
Lysol.
I'm just
well,
gonna
you know
pour
what?
tequila.
Maybe we
Like
could talk
scented hand
Lysol
sanitizers?
into making
Dick spray?
strawberry
Flavored?
flavored dick spray.
Can't you just pour some tequila right on the dick and
Yes.
then
Yes.
Yes. Tequila is a great antiseptic. Just carry around a little spritz
Tequila
bottle of tequila and be like, listen, I'm an alcoholic and I need to spray your dick with tequila. Oh, just make sure he doesn't have any open wounds.
Ladies?
Actually, that's a great way to find out if he does, because if he starts screaming, you know he's got an open wound on
Yes.
his dick somewhere.
And it doesn't. You don't have to limit
Ladies,
it to. You don't
carry a
have to limit-
spritz bottle of tequila.
You're welcome. If there was no other reason for you to watch the show tonight,
You have it now.
here it is.
We're sorry there's no Thor, but we have now taught you how to disinfect a dick.
before you put it in your mouth.
Abby said, I feel like if the hygiene isn't there, I'm not going to put it in my mouth.
But
It's not
sometimes,
going in my
but
mouth.
sometimes you can't see.
Yeah, what if he took a vag bath in his friend's bathroom before he left the house and came over to see you?
She did. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Just, there was nothing wrong with that. There was nothing wrong with it. Sometimes you want to have a clean vagina before you go out. My choice was ask to go up and shower quick or just take a vag bath, like a sink.
You called yourself out. She didn't even
I
mention
did.
your name.
I did, I know.
It's because I knew she would do that. I don't have to call her out. She does it herself.
And just so you know, the only reason I shared is because I hoped it would give you a smile. That's all.
It totally did.
And also, I want you to know why. I don't know. There were vagina paper towels in your sink, so
You know, they
No,
sell
I threw 'em away.
they sell wipes just for that.
they do. But I don't randomly
You
like.
go to the 99-cent store and just get some baby wipes. It's just the same thing.
Number one, I'm perfectly fine anyway. Like, I didn't need to clean shit. I'm just paranoid. So.
Oh, I am too. Like, I don't care if I showered 3 times before that date. If I know it's going down, before we get, I'm like, I need to go freshen up. And I'm in his bathroom.
We've all done it. We have all done it. And again, like, there's nothing. I know my shit's good.
Yeah,
like,
my
I
shit's
know it's
good.
good. But
You
I
could
still do it.
Double duty. Use the tequila spray on you.
They'd be like, excuse me, why does your clit taste like a tequila sunrise?
Why are we both drunk and we haven't actually drank?
So instead of having to worry about using your friend's bathroom or anything like that, you just take your spray bottle
So
Spritz
you could
yourself.
just get it, pour it in a little glass and splash it out. and be
It's a
like,
lot easier just to spray it with a spray bottle, baby.
True. Okay.
Just
so
get one that has a stream.
spray bottle veg. Yeah, there you go. Working around in there.
One day my child will Google my name, and this show is going to appear in his Google responses.
And he is going to know to carry a spray
That's
bottle
right.
of tequila around
It goes.
to
but
spritz
look,
his dick.
This is a marketing ploy that we could market to both men and women and transgender anything, even asexuals.
And Jose Cuervo. I'm
right?
just saying.
This is a money-making idea.
Can we put our faces on the bottle? Like, I think it would be most effective.
Vag Spray Tequila, brought to you by SinCityBounty.
Jasper said, oh, and we just talked about this. I'm a literal clean freak. I'm the type I'll take a shower before I go to the gym. When I come home from the gym, I'll take a shower again. And I actually, before I would go to yoga, I shower. I never want to be the one in yoga going, am I smelling myself? But I always, I like to feel fresh when I go. And then same when I get back. So.
When I go to the gym, it's early in the morning and I don't give a fuck. And I really don't give a fuck. But I do shower after because my gym has a really nice shower.
I always showered after too.
Yeah, I always shower after. I have shower shoes and everything. So I was in the army.
Yep.
I'm not about to get that swamp foot shit from those bitches who don't.
You don't do that.
And I see those girls too with their fucked up ass toes just walking around barefoot. And I'm like, Jesus.
The feminine version of our tequila spray is currently marketed as FDS. Jasper
Dick
says,
Spray.
otherwise known as Funky Dick Spray.
Funky dick spray.
There is a feminine spray that's for sale out there. But I think tequila would go over better.
Just
because
remember, if it smells like fish, do what you wish. If it smells like cologne, leave it alone.
But if it smells like tequila, what's the rhyme?
I don't have one. Drink it. Suck it. Doesn't matter if it's a dick or a clit. Suck it.
That's
William
our new
said,
marketing.
this show brings
Hashtag
new
suck it.
meaning to the term tequila poppers.
Oh, yes.
What were we going to talk about today?
A lot of things that we were going to talk about. Let's talk about
How did we even get on this?
you before you went to bed last night.
Oh, okay. So I was a little bit horny last night, and I was like, all right, when I go to bed tonight, I'm totally going to masturbate. And then I remembered there was no Tumblr porn, so I just went to sleep. Because I was not about to pull up some, 5-minute long video when all I need to see is, a GIF.
GIF.
Damn you, Tumblr.
Damn you.
But if you get the 5-minute one, you just fast forward to the good stuff.
Yeah, but you're sitting there playing with buttons that are not on your body.
Yeah,
but
I
you
only want one button to diddle.
You gotta multitask, girl.
I don't want to multitask. This is what I liked about Tumblr. It was one finger action. That was it. That was the whole night. I didn't have to be like tap, tap, search. And you know what? I'm terrible with searching one-handed, so I got to use the voice to text. So I got to whisper to it because I don't need my kid to hear big juicy clit. I don't need him to hear that. And then I've got to remember to turn the volume all the way down because you're like, well, that one's going to be like, Jesus, fuck, stick, fucking shit, Christ. It's too fucking much, man. Tumblr was perfect. It was silent. And if there was a video that had audio, there would be a little button on there so you could know to turn your audio down first and then click it and then be like, And it was only like a minute and a half because they're like from YouTube in the way back. Oh, that was good. Next. Like, that was all I needed.
Yep.
And now I don't have that.
So is that why your phone smells like fish?
No, it's because I had sushi the other night.
That's actually true.
And I'll have you to know that I have seen the reports on your phone being the dirtiest fucking thing you own, and this bitch gets an alcohol wipe down like every other day.
On Sunday, I attend church regularly on Sunday. And on Sunday, on the table that I was at, was this big, beautiful black and white drawing illustration, not a drawing, of a beautiful vagina.
I thought you drew that.
No.
It totally does look like something she would have drawn, but
Yeah,
god damn,
I
that
thought
thing
you
was
drew
beautiful.
that.
It was beautiful. Full bush and everything.
Yeah.
Well, it's a teaching aid, right?
It is a teaching aid. You get to label all the parts. Gorgeous. On my desk at church. That was the best. That's the best part of it. I love
I
it.
literally thought you drew that at
Thank you.
church.
Thank you.
She could have. So
I
no.
could have, and not been chastised for it because it's a fabulous church.
You know what makes me sad? Whenever I see pictures of vaginas like that, I don't have those inner lips. I only
Right? The
have
little
an
ones
outer,
that go.
the little like butterfly wing ones. I don't
Yeah.
have that. I only have the big fat juicy outer lip, and I want like some delicate inner lady lips.
Are you sure they're just not like stuck to the side because you're juicy?
No. Trust me, I'm intimately familiar with the look of my vagina. There's no inner butterfly lip.
I'm totally trying to, I'm like, let me find some photos. I am not sure, but I will certainly
Because
be able
everyone's
to
like,
find out.
because whenever you label it, it's like outer labia or labia majora, labia minor. I don't have labia minor. I only have majora.
Oh.
Mask. My nerds out there got that.
All right, so one thing we're going to talk about. I wanted to mention the Girl Scouts. I posted this story. The Girl Scouts were given $100,000 for donations, and then was told that they could not use it for any transgender charity work. The Girl Scouts gave the money back.
Congratulations, Girl Scouts, for doing the one thing that my scouting group's been doing forever.
I'm not coming down on your scouts.
No, I know you're not. It's just, so the scouts,
But
both.
let your scouts make the news, and we'll talk about them on the show.
Yeah, they're not assholes, so they won't. So I love that the Boy
They're
Scouts and
nice.
Girl Scouts of America.
The others aren't assholes. They're
No.
just sized much larger. And the brand is more familiar than your scouts.
I love that both scouting groups are going in a more open-minded direction.
Yes.
And I love that that is being driven by the fact that more and more people are fed up with the bullshit cliquishness that the scouts have been like forever and ever.
Right.
I mean, I always wanted to be in Girl Scouts, but every time you see those girls in that uniform, they were never nice to me. Like, they were always mean girls, like mean girl type people. And I was like, man, I don't want to be a part of that.
You know
group.
why? It's because Toxi told us they don't actually go out in the woods. They sit around tables and make crafts.
Yeah, and so I'm glad I didn't join because I'd have been mad. But there are, just so you know, if you don't like Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, but you just still want something like that, there's more scouting groups out there that are not just the one that my kid is involved in. There's a couple of other smaller scouting groups out there. There's like the Pathfinders, and there's a bunch of other groups out there that are open-minded, co-ed, gender-neutral, non-denominational, if you don't want your kid praying to God every time they go out to tie a knot in a fucking rope in a tree. There's plenty of other groups out there that do all that stuff.
And the up-and-comer is?
Well, my kid is a part of Sparrow Scouts International. We love that group. They are non-denominational, co-ed, and multi-tiered, but they're also super inclusive. So he's the oldest of the group, but he doesn't attend scout meetings by himself. All of the different scout groups go together as a group, and they work together. And because of the level he's at, he's encouraged to help the younger kids with their part of his getting badges is to help the younger kids get their badges. So it's pretty cool.
I know that kind of training. It's good training.
It is good training. He loves it a lot. He's sewing on my sewing machine.
Your boy is sewing.
On my
I
sewing
love
machine,
it.
yeah.
That you were telling me about. There's no distinction between girl stuff and boy stuff.
No, there's no. The scouting badges they're all the same for the boys and girls. And then they also have awards badges, which you can earn on top of Scouts badges, but are not required. And they don't give you any extra oomph. It's just, to have more shit your parents have to pay for. That's all it is, really.
All right, so that's one story I wanted to mention.
Yay, Girl
Kudos,
Scouts.
Girl Scouts. Oh, it's Girl Scout cookie time too, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've
Find
seen
your
posts.
dealer.
Yep.
So my daughter was a Girl Scout for about a year, and I pulled her. Where she was at, it was very unorganized. It was a lot of like, you come in, you do crafts, you sing a song, you talk about a sewing project or butterflies or what the fuck ever. But every time I walked in, it was utter chaos. Like, even little things that we went to, and I'm sure not all groups are like this, but I didn't get value from it for her. I like the entrepreneurship of the cookie sales, but you have to be known for more than cookie sales. Like, there has to be something else that you're giving out there or putting out there other than the ability to make cookies and sew a patch. So it didn't work, but fuck you, those cookies. I remember having to pay like $400 in cookies because it just so happens I was the best customer. So we had cookies out the ass forever, and we sold a bunch, but
What do you want?
still.
Turn your mic on.
It is on.
Okay.
You say that every time, but then I listen to the video and it's.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
So, how much on a box of cookies? What are now $4 or $5 or $3 or something a box?
They're like $5.50 or $6.50
Yeah.
a
How
box.
much of that does the Girl Scout troop actually get to keep?
So I will say it does a portion. I don't remember the portion, but a portion went back to, for my daughter, to her troop, because they were taking they were bridging over to whatever the next group was, and so they offered to purchase our sashes using the Girl Scout money. I don't know, what the percentage was, but I do know some goes back to that actual unit.
They get like what, 25 cents, 50 cents a box?
Probably.
So,
But some of it
Well, if
goes
it's
to the
anything
unit,
my
some
point
of it
being,
goes to the Girl Scouts
I'd
altogether.
rather donate $5 to that troop than buy the cookies.
I'd
I
rather
love
the
Don't
cookies.
get me wrong.
Just because they're cookies.
Right.
It teaches the kids, the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts, that, hey, if you put in all this hard work, you're only going to get a little bit, and that's the way it's going to be the rest of your life.
I think it
Most-
depends. Oh, sorry, go on.
Most schools, when they come around, the kids that's selling the candy bars, I always buy their candy bars because it's usually for band.
Right,
or
and they're high. The candy
something
bars
like
are high
that.
markups.
And
Yeah.
those, but
They get
from
a
what
lot
I
back.
understand, the kids get 50%.
They do. That's why they're a high.
So
they're
I'm
a
gonna
good
assume.
sell.
I want to assume that the Girl Scouts at least get that much.
They have to get enough to where some goes to the unit, some goes to the Girl Scouts overall. I mean, when I was a Girl Scout, I specifically remember going to like this big Girl Scout jamboree that my mom didn't have to pay for, and it was this big, huge event, with a ton of other Girl Scouts. But my daughter's, troop, I guess, wasn't at that point or what have you. I know when they did I think it covered a party or something like that. I don't know.
For those of you in our chat, if you have friends who are Girl Scout moms, send them a text or something and find out what the percentage is that the girls get to keep. Back in my younger days, I used to shake down Girl Scouts for Samoas. Those Samoas, the
They're-
Samoa cookies, I think those are my favorites.
Yeah, they're called like coconut something or others now. They're not Samoas anymore, but yeah. I could
and then
not roll
Jasper
vodka.
says them Thin Mints were straight crack.
The Thin Mints, and I love, they have these peanut butter ones where it's just 2 peanut butter cookies and peanut butter cream in the middle. And those are just amazing.
Not coated. Are they
They
coated
have
in
a-
chocolate?
No, but those are great too.
Yeah.
They have a new one. It's not new, but it's the newest cookie. But it's this giant like lemon shortbread cookie thing with oh Jesus fuck me.
And just so you know, different regions actually have different cookies.
Nuh-uh.
They do. So there's a main staple. I mean, your Thin Mints, everyone has. Your
Samoas, whatever they're
yeah, I'm
called
trying
now.
to think of what they are called now, but yeah, those, the Do-si-dos or whatever. So that's a main staple, but like the lemon, you're not going to be able to get all over the U.S. And sometimes they'll come out with like a oatmeal raisin biscuit, some shit, and then different places.
So I've seen
have
some.
different-
I've seen some posts in my feed on Facebook about who's got the cookies, whose kids are selling the cookies right now, because I know it's that time, and almost every single mom is referring those people to the online store.
So I just saw that starting in the past few years. When my daughter was in, that wasn't an option because we have family out of town where they were like, you know, get me 10 boxes and we'll pay you the next time we see you. And I'm like, all right, I'll put that out of my pocket. I love the thought of the online sales. That would make a huge difference.
Yeah, because now I don't have to interact with fucking Girl Scouts to get cookies.
Right.
But unless PayPal or any of those guys are giving up their fees, that's a little bit more of the money that the Girl Scouts don't get. Just saying.
So
I would hope that PayPal would step up and say Girl Scouts don't need to pay the fee.
you might just pay direct to them. It might not. Is PayPal an option? It might just be a direct purchase with a credit
Yeah,
card.
if they're using their own e-commerce tool, they may not
Yeah.
need to use PayPal.
True.
Margaret said Google says the troop gets 21%, but does the actual troop get the 21%,
Or is that Girl
Is
Scouts
that,
International?
Girl
is that
Scouts?
split with international?
right? And is it like that troop? Is it the local unit? Is it the overall?
Unless Girl Scouts International are the ones supplying the cookies.
I don't know. I believe there's two different
Because if that's the case,
manufacturers.
then international gets 79%.
Yeah, they still have to have a manufacturer of the cookies, and there's two different ones. That's why also another reason that the cookie types kind of vary.
Okay. All right. So what else would you want to talk about?
So, not to be a Debbie Downer, but we have lost a lot of people in January 2019.
Yes.
Incredibly more than we ever expected, not only within the BBW community, but in our own personal lives, in some work spheres that we've been in the past. If I really did a list, it would be far too long of everyone that we have had pass, but we do want to, locally, Juanita, she put on the BBW group here that was one of the longest running in
I think
town.
it was Las Vegas BBWs, right?
Was it Las Vegas
Yeah, it was
BBWs?
BBW Club Las Vegas.
No.
She started out on the East Coast. So she started out in Connecticut with a group that was heavily attended. People still to this day will say, I remember her from the East Coast. She started out with that. She is really a matriarch of the community. There's so many people out there who met someone because of her, whether it was one of her events or her directly. Like, for example, at the end of the day, I wouldn't know either of them if it wasn't for Juanita and my relationship with her, and then going and, you know, participating at the club that she had, and then, you know, ultimately meeting everybody within here. And I think I met Sweet Cheeks at another event, but again, it all kind of tied back to Juanita. She did annual BBW cruises that, you know, were well attended. So definitely a huge loss in the BBW community. So
We also lost Jan Reddy Marks from the BBW community. She was a much older lady, but she was very kind. I'd only had a few interactions with her, but she was always super nice and super sweet. Yeah, that's the two that we'll talk about. We lost, Elexia lost someone personally this month. I lost a former coworker that I really liked working with.
A friend of ours lost her mother.
Two friends of ours have lost their
That's right.
mothers. It's just been it's a bad month for people who are older. I gotta call my grandma. Speaking of which.
I actually didn't even know until this moment that your grandma was alive.
Yes. Yes.
Oh wait, no, I did. I know where she's at. Never mind. Never mind. Now I know from another sibling.
I've already lost
I
three
remember seeing
grandmothers.
photos. Okay.
Well,
'Cause you have
I've
a bunch,
had
right?
3 grandmothers. Yeah, I have 3. I lost the other 2. One a long time ago, one not that long ago, and I still have one. She better hold on forever. Although I think she will, because she's She walks like 8 miles a day.
And she carries a spray bottle of whiskey, I believe.
She is living the best life. Living the best life.
No, but she still bakes and shit. So, you know.
Yeah, so my grandparents all passed away when I was younger, the ones I knew. But my daughter has a great grandmother who's like in her 90s.
For those of you who watch us or listen to us live here on WWDB, have ever been in the studio or met some of the other show hosts that are here on the station, we lost one of my very favorite people, Bill from Southern Nevada Sports News. Finish.
He was a really nice guy, super duper sweet. He died of complications from a procedure that he had done. We're gonna miss him terribly. He was just a really nice guy. It always sucks when those are the ones that go.
All right, let's change the subject.
Okay, no more death and dying. So dicks are tasty.
Especially if you spray them with tequila first.
Yeah. Oh, Dick tried dick piercings. Oh, is that his?
Yeah.
Damn.
So this is a friend of yours. Took a picture of his piercing. God damn. And sent you this picture, right?
We cannot post this on
No.
anywhere, and we can't post it on our Tumblr page anymore either.
Right.
Oh, that's where we would have posted it.
Although we do have that dick blog still somewhere.
And for the record,
ether.
I did specifically ask if I could show it to you ladies. I didn't ask to put it on a website.
This was a solicited dick pic, not an unsolicited dick pic. We requested this dick pic, we received it, we enjoyed it, and we did the same thing we do with unsolicited dick pics. We shared it with our friends. Yes.
Yes.
Whatever happened to your blog?
It's floating around out there.
It's, yeah.
Quit doing it, or I haven't seen it in a while?
Well, surprisingly, I don't get as many dick pics as
Yeah,
I used
neither
to.
do I.
No, not yours. Toxi was doing one.
Mine's still there.
It's still there.
Yeah, it's still there.
She wrote one which I haven't posted yet, but
So there are a couple of different, I'm not showing this picture because this will violate all of our terms of service. So there's a couple of different penis piercings out there. Toxi has a friend who has a Prince Albert, and it's actually a lowered Prince Albert. It goes from front to bottom instead of front to top, which is a reverse Prince Albert.
what
which
is a
one-
Prince Albert?
So a Prince Albert is a penis piercing. It goes in the urethra and either up through the top for a reverse or down through the bottom for a traditional Prince Albert. And I've known a few guys who have it, and one of the problems with having a Prince Albert is because it does actually pierce the urethra. If you don't have jewelry in some cases, if you have jewelry in that's too small, urine and other fluids will leak out of that additional hole you have placed in your penis. Which
So-
means if you come with no jewelry in, you're coming out 2 holes at once.
So here's how we were talking about it. I brought up, and he's actually going to find out now for the first time right now.
We've been talking about his penis?
We've been talking about the penis and the piercing. And the reason I brought it up is I said I kind of have, I have an issue. And
It's
I didn't.
apprehension. Not really an issue.
It's not an issue. It's not an issue.
You're a little
It's
afraid.
I'm afraid. Thank you. That is actually the best word.
In case you didn't know Toxi, if you Googled afraid, her picture will show up.
It will. So I was explaining to them how number one, I was not aware that if you take the piercing out, that it can go in different directions. And I only know because he mentioned to me, like, yeah, if he has the piercing out, he has to block the one hole so he's not like peeing all over. And immediately in my mind, it immediately went to like, is it going to be like a cum sprinkler in my mouth? And so
You gotta make the noise to go with it.
What the? Come, spray. Come, spray.
That's even better than around the kitchen table.
I've been practicing.
So now,
That's all she sees.
so it's all I think about. And then I think like, while I'm there, I'm like, oh my God, because the piercing's out. I'm like, am I gonna like catch my tooth on a hole and then I'm like ripping the dude's dick? Like, am I gonna be that person that now you have a story of,
So
me
one of the things
ripping
that
the
we
dick hole?
suggested was to pull out. But then you could get shot in the eye and up the nostril.
Right. So it's just, I'm assuming that like normally, if I'm going to finish in my mouth, I'm more of the like just shoot it down the back of my throat, like just get it back there. I'm not a gargler. Like I'm not gonna swish the cum around like some. I'm not gonna, fountain it out of my mouth and catch it. I'm like shoot it right down. Let's make this happen. But I'm really afraid because it's gonna go like it's gonna be coming out of my ear and down my throat at the same
It'll
time.
just come out your nose.
My nose.
And that
So-
burns a little, but you get over it. And then it smells like the ocean for a while for some weird reason.
But
All
then,
the salt.
That must be all the salt, I guess.
but then, so then it's cum nose. So the result of sprinkler cum
Please come nose.
cum nose.
Just so you know, mysterious friend, you have a nickname now. You have a show name. You are officially the cum sprinkler. That's your official name, dude. Just saying. Yeah.
And then I'll be at like 7-Eleven afterward, and someone will be like, you must have some Coke or something there at your nose. I'm like, nah, man.
It's dried
cum.
sperm.
It's cum. It's just.
If you had him wear a condom, you wouldn't have to worry about it.
A wiener rainbird.
True. It'll all kind of catch in there.
Yeah.
So.
Of course. I don't know if they do sell strawberry flavored condoms.
Yeah.
But she needs tequila flavored condoms.
I need
Sure.
tequila flavored.
You can make your own.
Can you wear a Band-Aid? Like, is that?
Do you,
You
want
want to put a
Band-Aid in the
Band-Aid
back
over
of your
his
throat?
hole? You know how Band-Aids are? They don't even stick in normal times. What is it going to be like? You're going to be like,
Actually,
going to hairball a Band-Aid out after you suck the guy's dick?
Band-Aids, actually, most Band-Aids do stick. Get the cloth ones. You can substitute with the Walmart brand. Do not buy Curad or
I'll
anything
tell you
from
right
the
now,
dollar store.
I'm not going to cheap out on a Walmart brand. I will tell you, I will not cheap out on a Walmart brand Band-Aid if I'm going to put on your dick before I suck it. I at least will get you the good brand. Maybe.
You need some protection.
Of course, if you put a condom on it, it will not only protect you from having it come out your ear or going up your nose, but from any of the what is it? The
Herpesifagonolades.
That's the one. I can't say the
Right,
word.
but there happen to be no herpesifagonolades because clean bill of health on the wiener.
He showed you
So.
his card?
Yes,
Nice.
so we're good.
My Herpesifagonolades free card. I got one of those.
It-
Of course,
you know,
it's not getting stamped with anything regularly anyway.
It's
so.
kind of weird. You want someone to have it, but if they whip it out to show it to you, you wonder why they're carrying it around.
I will have you to know that I do keep, like, my my doctor's office sends you a digital copy of your records. So I have a digital copy of my no herpesifagonolades report that I carry around in my purse or on my phone. I can pull it up right now if you guys want to see it.
I do that with my insurance card in my car.
I do that too. So
put
I
your
have
insurance
my
card
I
on your
have my
phone.
I'm not going to get you sick with a vagina disease card, and I have my if you crash into me we can exchange informations card.
And you just try not to mix them up in the case of an
Yeah.
accident.
Like, police officer, I have insurance. I also don't have AIDS.
If the cop is really cute, then,
Well, yeah, I'll be like, so here's my insurance card, and here's my other card. Hi, officer.
officer.
I can't do that.
I just like saying it that way.
Can you do it?
Officer. What?
What she does?
Really, Robert? You must
I
be
have to
joking.
practice a little bit first.
So we were talking about it and then realizing that there are lots of other piercings. I had only ever been familiar with the one that's underneath the shaft. I don't know
So
the
there's one that
technical
goes
term.
straight through top to bottom, right? Do you know what that's called?
Yes, and it can also go from side to side. Let me pull
Right.
up my
Side to side or top to bottom.
yeah. It's called an apodravia or an ampelang.
Yeah,
so it
ampelang.
goes across.
It's a bar.
It's a bar that goes across the head of the dick, but it doesn't actually pierce any of. It doesn't pierce the urethra. It's almost a surface piercing, but it's a little bit deeper than that. My one of my sisters has an ex-husband. She actually has a couple of them. But she has an ex-husband who had what we called the triceratops piercing. So he had a reverse Prince Albert. So it went from front to top instead of front to bottom. And then he had an ampling across the top. And so it looked like a fucking triceratops on his penis. And he would use the Prince Albert as a joystick for his urine stream. Like he could direct it with his Prince Albert. Funny.
Can this dude do that if you leave the piercing in?
Well, his is a regular Prince Albert, so it goes from top to bottom. So he'd have to do like some real. I mean, I know he knows how to diddle his dick, so he'd have to do some real dick diddling to do that.
I probably know an engineer who could hook up a connection so he can just do it.
Yeah.
From his hands.
I know I do.
I don't want to see it.
I love piercings. I played around with getting one this year. I still might. I don't know.
Where were you piercing?
I was thinking about doing an industrial piercing from here to here on the cartilage in my ear.
Why is it called an industrial piercing?
I don't know. That's just what it's called.
Because of the big ass giant
Probably.
things that you
Because
pierce
if
it
you're
with?
working in a warehouse and you fall on one of those metal poles and it goes through your ear, bam, industrial piercing.
Yeah, sure.
Have you ever had sex with a guy who had a piercing on his penis?
No, I haven't, surprisingly. Lots of other piercings, but not on his penis.
What about you?
Yeah.
Yeah? And was it more enjoyable?
So
Because that's the whole draw. One of the draws, right? Is that it's supposed to pleasure your partner.
right. So the one I had before, it was the underneath the shaft. And I really don't remember anything kind of, different. This one more so feels like you have a dick in you and someone's like running their finger down the side of your inner wall, I guess, at the same
So
time.
it tickles?
It doesn't tickle, you just feel it there.
So there's like, you're getting dicked by two dicks at the same time? Or a dick and a finger?
No, like the dick's there, right? Like the dick's there, and then
There's also a finger.
like a finger, like someone's like touching you. Like, hey!
Now I'm super turned on and super sad Tumblr is gone. I gotta queue up some shit for when I get home. Hold on.
Paul says industrial piercings are cool. Do it. Paul, why are they called industrial piercings?
I don't know.
What about tongue piercings?
So little known fact, I've actually had many piercings over the course of my lifetime. I've had my eyebrow pierced. I have a scar from that. I have had my tongue pierced, and I've had my belly button pierced. So my eyebrow and my belly button were pretty like normal standard size piercings.
You were such a 90s kid.
I was. So my tongue piercing, however, I was obsessed with it, and I had it gauged at one point to an aught, to a 0, which is about this big around. I essentially had a plug in my tongue with a giant ball on top of it. And tell you, my girlfriend really liked that at the time. My boyfriend did too. They both liked it. So, man, and that was fun because you'd go into the piercer, and I had it professionally stretched. Most people would just jam a new piece of jewelry in there, but that's how you get infections. So they have a stretching bar that gauges you from one gauge to the next, and it's shaped like a Y, and they screw the new one in and they pull it through your tongue and they kind of just slowly stretch it open to accommodate the new piercing. And
Do you sit like this for 2 hours?
no, it takes like 2 seconds.
Oh.
It's not complicated. When I say
Oh
slowly,
no, when I stretch my shoes, it has to be like overnight.
Right? It takes a while to stretch out. When I stretch my jeans, that fucking takes a while.
nah, man, my tongue stretches real good. Real good. Anyway, so the last time I had it stretched, I was going from whatever the size is up to the big one that I had in. And I actually had a little bit of a crowd because no one had ever, this was before like huge gauges were really a thing. And hardly anyone would do big gauges in their tongue. And so I had like 3 or 4 people watching as I gauged up to a double lot.
It's probably because when you drink, it dribbles. Just kidding.
What?
Be tongue
What do you have,
sprinkler.
Pierce?
I'm sorry to interrupt this, but this meme just popped up on my phone that I really have to share.
The presses must stop for memes.
Okay. I just bought this old prison bus and 50 orange jumpsuits.
I saw this one.
Now I need 50 friends to put them on so we can go to Walmart parking lot, just jump out and run off.
I am down for this. And you know what? I would like to be 50 female friends so that everybody can be like, holy shit, where's Crazy Eyes? Like, that's my goal. There's some squad goals. I don't have enough friends for that, though.
There's 3 of us
I do.
climbing off the bus.
Yeah.
I do.
You do?
I can recruit some people.
Yeah, she likes people. I don't. I have no friends.
My mom says it all the
guys.
time. Oma, you have too much friends.
Yeah. You're too nice. That's
My bus
favorite
would be
one.
me because I forgot to invite everyone.
She'd be like, oh, shit, I was supposed to invite people.
Then I'd get drunk, go to a bar, get a bus full of people there.
She would.
Paul says, industrial piercings jet across the top of the ear. Cool. Tongue piercings are awesome. So those are the only things called, that's the only thing called an industrial piercing is on your ear?
Yeah, the bar that goes across is called an industrial.
And everything else is called, like, this is a eyebrow piercing, and this is a lip piercing, and this is a nose.
Well, but there's multiple lip piercings. So there's the labret, which is the one that's right here. There's a Monroe, which is either top left or top right, up here. And then there's these is called something specific. The one that goes on both of these, and yeah.
There's also anal piercings. Where
I-
you pierce the anal rim.
Yeah.
What?
Listen, if it is on your body, it can be pierced. There are women who have their clits pierced.
Well, of course, everyone's heard of that. But I had to have. Who else has heard of anal piercing? Like,
You're clearly not into the right kink community.
apparently I'm not.
It must be, it must be just for that particular kink community. Because it's not like you're showing it off. Like with the tongue, you ever met anybody who had a tongue piercing? Especially when it was brand new? They're like this all the time.
Oh, and clink, clink, clink.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They're constantly, their tongue is out of their mouth.
Yeah, that tongue piercing destroyed the inside of my teeth. Like,
Yeah.
I totally destroyed the inside of my teeth.
My
with
sister
that.
had
And
one,
people
and
who
that's
have, I've seen,
They're
it's usually the
concave.
eyebrow piercing, but those people are always fussing with it, messing with it, twirling it,
It's just like fucking with your hair or anything else.
whatever.
It's the exact same thing. It's a thing on my body I play with. Listen, I love piercings. I love
Hi.
tattoos. I actually don't have nearly as many piercings as I've wanted in my life, or nearly as many tattoos. So I'll tell you about the one tattoo that I'm super glad I never got. I am very much a 90s kid, and I was going to have a tramp stamp done that said, "Have a nice ride." But I'm super glad that I did not do
Why
that.
did you not get that done? That is the ultimate.
That would have been mentioned on every episode of our show.
There's
That would have been if you logged into SinCityBounty's Facebook page, that would be our cover photo, would be my tramp stamp, "Have a nice ride." Like, that's what it'd be. Although now, since I'm much bigger than I was back when I was getting tattoos as a kid, it would say, "Have a nice ride." Like, that's what it would say now.
my friend and I, the very first threesome that I participated in, and I use the term participated very loosely because
Did you just touch a boob?
I fell asleep. So, so my very first threesome, the next morning, my friend and I looked, and the guy was asleep, and he had a tramp stamp. He was a dude with a tramp stamp.
I knew another dude who had a tramp stamp too. Okay, he had a very specific reason. So he was an idiot who rode a motorcycle and didn't wear leathers, and I believe in leathers because I've seen them save lives. But he would ride a motorcycle, and he had a tramp stamp done because his T-shirt would flap up when he was riding the motorcycle. So he had this giant, patriotic, spread across his tramp stamp area. It was like a bald eagle and a big American flag, and it was like "Ride Free" or some shit like that. It was like, dude, that's the douchiest tramp stamp I've ever seen in my life. Like, come on.
I don't know.
Wear
This
leathers.
is pretty.
Did you find an article about anal piercings? Because we're not going to have time to talk about it.
No, I was just going through the list of the different piercings.
Oh, okay.
And anal piercing was the one. I mean, the rest seem like things I would know about. Like there was a taint piercing, except they call it something fancy.
It's a peritoneum.
But the
Yeah, that's the actual medical term, I think.
yeah,
Not
but
something
the
fancy.
now there's another one, and it's called Gyche, Gyche, a piercing of the male perineum.
That's the taint.
Right, but it's called like a Gyche piercing.
We hope you learned something tonight. Don't forget to carry around your spray bottle of tequila or Irish whiskey.
If you are watching this on YouTube, please click the like button if you liked it. Put thumbs down if you thought taint piercings were awful. and click subscribe. And if you want to know when we post our new videos up on YouTube, hit that little bell icon and it will send you a notification.
Yep. I'm Elexia.
Toxi.
And Sierra, wishing you would all donate to our Patreon.
Later, bitches.
We've totally spaced mentioning Patreon at the beginning of the show. I think we're done now.